Started to join the army for the adventure really, for something different. It seemed like a good idea at the time. It was a good idea at the time. It's an experience I certainly don't regret, no matter how hard it may have been. My role in the army was I was in the infantry. I was basically a ground soldier. I did that for 5 years. I did a couple of different jobs in the infantry, such as I did a role in intelligence, and I did a role in signals as well. When the coalition government came into power, and while I was in the army at the time, they made a pledge to increase the money that troops received while they were abroad in Afghanistan, and in areas such as that. We called it danger money. It was money that you got, it was tax-free bonus that you got for the end of your tour, which they did. And that remained in place for about a year, but unfortunately then they decided that we no longer needed it, and then ended up getting reduced for pretty much everyone that was entitled to it. So it's I suppose you can't say they didn't keep the promise, they just didn't keep it very long. I left in 2012 to look after my daughter, to assume full-time care of my daughter. We had nowhere to live. Upon leaving the armed forces, we applied for social housing. Was told that unfortunately, we would only get 80 points for being ex-armed forces, which meant it was pretty much impossible to get anywhere, to get any form of social housing. With everyone having to downsize their properties due to the bedroom tax, we had lots of people moving from 3-bedroom properties to 2-bedroom properties, all of whom took priority over myself. So we ended up with no 2-bedroom properties available and lots of empty 3-bedroom properties. We were forced to consider private renting at a much higher cost than we could have got from social housing. And the amount that wasn't covered by a local housing allowance, so we were paying the shortfall out of our own pockets. And in the end, the rent that we were paying, a lot of that was coming out of the child benefit we were receiving from a daughter. My mother, who has lived in the same home now for as long as I can remember, she's been living in a 3-bedroom property. Unfortunately, she's disabled. She's got quite severe epilepsy and it's quite unstable, and she's currently paying the bedroom tax from her disability benefit. I've got a lot of bills to pay. I've got a rent shortfall to pay as well. So there's, the other year I was paying £90 a month for my electricity alone and £30 for my gas. I got to the end of the year and I was told by Empower that actually I was £700 under what I should have been paying, so I ended up with a £700 bill on top of that to pay as well, on top of my future energy bills as well. So my energy costs are astronomically high. And that's it's just one of those things. So this money, it has to go on top of paying for that. It has to pay for food. It has to pay for clothes for my little one. And I just don't see how I'm supposed to make it work.